What's up, everyone? Mark Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Oh, man, we're going to talk about veganism. Now, just to get to the nitty gritty, just to get to where it all started, some people think that the reason humans are the way they are today, the reason we're able to do all these cool inventions, climb out of the caves, stop dragging women by the hair, holding a club in one hand and beating a woolly mammoth with the other. The reason being is that we figured out fire. We figured out how to eat meat. Meat is nutrient dense. It is filled with nutrients. The most dense thing you can eat, organ meat, red meat, more dense than any other food on this planet. Caloric density. Remember, you had to hunt your food. You had to gather your food. So without that nutrient density, we can't go around. We don't have the stomach chambers to eat like chimpanzees. I like when people make that whole like, well, you know, gorillas, they're vegans. Yeah, they also have a stomach chamber that is nothing like a human stomach chamber. And they spend, I think, 75% of their lives eating. And also they have like 3-centimeter-inch penises. So who the hell wants to be a gorilla? So it really fascinates me when we talk about veganism, what's healthiest, what's heart healthiest, what's healthiest for the brain. Obviously, from a obesity standpoint, being obese, eating ultra-processed food makes you stupid. I mean, there are data to support that if you are fat, which limits your blood flow to the brain, which limits the amount of, well, thinking you can do, the fatter you are, the dumber you are, because your blood flow isn't there. You're not going to be as smart as you would be. Now, there are plenty of fat people smarter than me. Can you imagine how smart they'd be if they weren't fat? Also, obesity will cause issues with your heart, with your arteries. So if veganism is helping to cure obesity, simply due to the fact that it's less calorically dense, and if you're eating whole natural vegan foods, you can eat strawberries until you turn pink. At the end of the day, you're not going to get fat from eating only strawberries. So you're barely going to see any fat fruitarians. You're rarely going to ever see any fat vegans who eat whole vegan foods. I'm not talking about the fake burger crap. I'm not talking about cookies that happen to be vegan. I'm talking about real food. So you're going to get better results on heart data. That's why a lot of doctors have, mindlessly just linked data to results and said, well, everybody should go vegan. Well, I can argue that it's the caloric density that is helping people to improve their heart health, that is helping to fix their lipids, to fix their cholesterol. So yeah, I can see that, but that's a very simplistic way of thinking. When calories are accounted for, I argue that the most healthy diet one can eat is one that is omnivorous, one that includes plant foods, one that includes animal foods, one that includes organ meats, one that includes seafood for the omega-3s. So at the end of the day, I think that we need to delve into this. And I think a lot of researchers are now starting to go there. We had on Evening Rants, which is a podcast. By the way, guys, those of you who watch Evening Rants, we're on Rumble. We are the #1 primetime podcast exclusively on X and Rumble. For the first half hour, we run on youtube.com/Lobliner. Okay, check it out. Tonight, we have the Pfizer whistleblower on. We're not even going on YouTube at all. So at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go to rumble.com/tigerfitness. Watch us live. This will be the best episode you've ever seen. Talk all about 2020. Talk about her experiences being a Pfizer whistleblower. Honored to have her on. So we appreciate that. Again, it's 8 p.m. tonight on rumble.com/tigerfitness. But I want to get into this article from the Daily Mail. And this is the one you saw in the thumbnail if you're watching. For those of you on Twitter, you can catch Evening Rants live right there on Twitter. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into this. So here's the article. Okay, here's the title. Harvard doctor says animal products are essential for mental health in blow to veganism. So the thing is, the good thing is we're talking about this, we're learning about this, and that can help all of us optimize our bodies, our minds, and our lives and eat to where we can perform. Now, I am not by any means a carnivore guy. I love having fruits. I love having veggies. Today alone, I ate 4 sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. Costco has them again. So I got a big bag. I put them in the air fryer for about 40 minutes because they're huge. Oh, so good. So good. So the brain needs meat. Sorry about the layout. I don't know what the hell's wrong with Daily Mail. So a top professor has revealed that eating meat is essential for mental health. Vegan foods lack crucial nutrients needed to maintain vital neurotransmitters. So we're going to go down. Meat is essential for warding off depression and anxiety. A top nutrition expert has revealed, sending a blow to veganism. And guys, for those of you watching live, the chat is open. For you not watching live, feel free to comment down below on YouTube. Help us in the algorithm. Still shadow banned from 2020. Dr. Georgia Ede, a Harvard-trained nutritional and metabolic psychiatrist and author of Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, studies the relationship between what we eat and our mental and physical health. Man, the formatting of this is all messed up. And despite the health halo that vegan diets have been given over the last few years, she claims that giving up meat could be detrimental to your mental health. The brain needs meat, she told KRO News Radio. We're used to hearing that meat is dangerous for total health, including our brain health, and plants are really the best way to nourish and protect our brains. Now, I can argue that if you were to stray away from meat completely, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Can you survive and thrive on a vegan diet? Yeah. We've had him on. You know him. He's an MTS nutrition athlete. His name is Barbarian Hawk. That guy is a vegan, lifelong vegan. He's part of a Native American tribe that is anti-aggression, so they do not eat meat at all. And he's crushing it, and he'll probably get his pro card in the next year. In the IFBB as a natty vegan. He's going to be the punchline of so many jokes. A Native American natty vegan. But the truth of the matter is that that's upside down and backward. Here's a picture of Dr. Georgia Ede. Dr. Ede said that while getting enough protein has long been a concern surrounding vegan diets, and that's one of the reasons we have Ambrosia planta, the #1 plant protein at Vitamin Shop, for people who, might want to eat a bit less animal products or just want a great tasting animal protein, vegan protein. For me, sometimes, especially when getting ready for a show, sometimes a little too much dairy could be a little disagreeing on the stomach. So I switch it up with planta. I love planta. I drink at least 1 shake of it a day. But for her, eating meat's about more than protein. So what I used to say about vegan diets is if you account for what you're lacking, vitamin B12, DHA, EPA, things like that, and protein, that veganism can be great. However, she's saying it's about more than protein. It's actually less about protein. We figured out the protein riddle, right? We got delicious protein supplements with complete amino acid profiles. Protein's not the issue, right? It's about the other nutrients that are inside of meat. People do say that eggs are nature's multivitamin. Eggs are super duper nutritious. And if you look at organ meats like liver, kidney, heart, super duper nutritious, right? You can get your protein needs met through a vegan and vegetarian diet if you plan it carefully. Proteins are made up of chemicals called amino acids, which build and repair muscles and bones. And again, we figured out that riddle, guys. We have figured out that riddle. Let's see if there's anything in the comments. Yeah, there are people here. Plenty of people. Look around. Oh, you're on Twitter. I don't even know how Twitter chat works, dude. Like, that's beyond me. That is beyond my realm of knowledge here. While animal products like eggs, meat, cheese, and Greek yogurt are high in protein, it could also be found in vegan options like lentils and broccoli. But many of the other essential nutrients are much more difficult, if not in some cases impossible, to obtain from plants, Dr. Ede says. She noted that meat is the only food that contains every nutrient we need in its proper form and is also the safest food for our blood, sugar, and insulin levels. She's right. She is right. It won't cause so when you eat a carbohydrate, it causes what's called a biphasic rise in your blood sugar, which means it does this. Okay. Now, when you eat a animal-based or a protein source, it causes an acute rise in your blood sugar or insulin. So acute versus biphasic are different, work differently in the body. Think about it as one shot versus two shots, right? Those nutrients include vitamin B12. I mentioned that before. Omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, choline, iron, and iodine. And choline, if you're deficient in it, I personally supplement with an injectable choline. It's from a site called betterthroughbiology.com. I don't get any discounts myself. Well, I do with my coupon, but I don't get any commission. It's Better Through Biology. I take an injectable choline carnitine blend. And the reason I stopped taking that before is it welted me up terrible PIP or injection site pain. And when you take it injectable, the choline and the carnitine, you won't get that TAO increase, which can be deleterious to heart health. Okay. Choline, iron, and iodine. Vitamin B12, for example, helps with the formation of oxygen-rich blood cells and DNA. However, it has also been linked to regulating mood-boosting serotonin, absolutely correct. And low levels of serotonin have been linked to increased risks of depression and anxiety. So the risks of going vegan, they have a little infographic here: bone fractures, anemia, stroke, depression, and hair loss. Hair loss, I believe, would be caused from malnourishment. Many people are sold veganism over benefits. It can help with weight loss and reduce the risk of some types of cancer. By switching to the diet also carries a number of health risks because it can lead to someone becoming deficient in nutrients normally acquired from vitamins and animal products. So if you are a vegan and you're an anti-supplement person, it's probably not the diet for you, because you're going to need a supplement. You're going to need B12. You're going to need a vegan source of DHA, EPA. You're just going to need that stuff. You're going to need synthetic vitamins to be optimal. Additionally, a review in the journal Frontiers in Pharmacology found that lower levels of zinc were associated with depression, as zinc can reduce inflammation in the brain. Zinc is also critical in hormone production. So if you take a ton of zinc, it's not going to make you have super high testosterone. But if you are deficient in zinc, it can indeed lead to a deficiency in your testosterone production. Several studies have suggested that meat eaters have better mental health. A 2021 systematic review of 18 studies compared those who do and don't eat meat. The research included 160,257 participants. That's a lot. Ages 11 to 96, 53% of whom were female, including 149,559 meat eaters and 8,584 meat avoiders. Of those, now remember there were 18 studies, 11 studies found that meat-free diets were linked to worse mental health outcomes. One of those studies found that vegetarians had a 35.2% chance of developing major depression compared to 19.1% in meat eaters. So we do have the data. Again, these are analyses. These aren't direct controlled studies, but you have to assume there are some controlled studies within that data, within those data. So that means that, yeah, we need to pay attention to what's going on here. And we'll go down further. Vegan diets are less healthy than including meat, eggs, and milk in your meals, a major review has found. Additionally, vegetarians had a 31.5% chance of developing an anxiety disorder compared to 18.4% for meat eaters. They're probably anxious because they're really anxious to get some bacon. One study published in 2022 surveyed 14,000 Brazilians between 35 and 74 years old. Again, this is a survey study. I don't put much stake in those because it's a reporting study, but let's see what it says. Found those who followed a vegan diet were twice as likely to be depressed. Wow. Even if they had similar nutrient intakes to carnivores. And a meta-analysis published in 2020, including 160,000 meat eaters and 8,500 meat abstainers, also found those who cut meat from their diet were significantly more likely to be depressed. Wow. They're depressed. They can't eat steak. Despite gaining a health halo over the years, emerging research suggests that vegan diets could have other lasting health consequences. A 2023 report from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, for example, looked at more than 500 studies and concluded that animal sources of food offer crucial sources of much needed nutrients. And this is United Nations. Last I checked, they're trying to get us to eat bugs and grow lab-based meat. The agency noted that these macro and micronutrients are hard to find in the required quantity and quality if following a vegan diet. Additionally, meat, eggs, and milk are particularly vital for children, young people, and the elderly, those pregnant and breastfeeding women. A 2019 paper also noted the deficiency of vitamin B12, which is more common in vegans, could raise the risk of stroke. This is because its absence inhibits the clearance of protein from the bloodstream, leading to inflammation. And you have heard reports, you've heard it, people who do the carnivore diet crush their inflammation. One of my good friends is a bodybuilder in his late 50s. He was a really big name back in the 80s and 90s. And he switched to a carnivore diet. And he says his joint pain, and bodybuilding for years, your joints are going to be a little sore, has gotten incredibly better, which in turn raised the probability of blood vessels being damaged. Key risk factor for stroke. Adults need about 2.4 milligrams of vitamin B12 a day to function, officials say. Vegetarian women are a third more likely to suffer hip fractures. Now, that is alarming. Vegetarian women have a higher risk of breaking their hips in later life compared to meat eaters, research suggested last year. I will venture to guess that's probably calcium related, maybe not. A study of more than 26,000 middle-aged women has revealed those who do not eat meat and fish have a 33% higher risk of hip fractures. This could be because they have a lower intakes of nutrients linked to bone and muscle health. And it reinforces advice that vegetarians should fortify their diet with key nutrients. As I said in the beginning, y'all, a team from Leeds University investigated the risk of hip fracture in occasional meat eaters, pescatarians who eat fish but not meat, which I was for 1.5 years of my life, and vegetarians compared to regular meat eaters. Among 26,318 women, 822 hip fracture cases were observed over roughly 20 years, meaning around 3% of women experienced them. Analysis published in the journal BMC Medicine found that after adjusting for factors such as smoking, age, vegetarians were the only diet group with elevated risk of hip fracture. Wow. The team also discovered the average BMI among vegetarians was slightly lower than the average among meat eaters. So their BMIs were very similar, their body mass index, or, a measure of fatness, so to speak. And BMI won't work for me because I'm jacked as fuck. But for the average American, I think BMI is a great measurement. I think it gives us a good idea because most people don't even lift. BMI is fine. What does Alan use? Height to waist ratio, I think, is better. But look, I'm not going to argue with BMI. The team also discovered the average BMI was only slight. Previous research has shown a link between low BMI and high risk of hip fracture, which could explain the finding. Makes sense. Less padding, less cushion for the push-in. Lead author Jane Webster said vegetarian diets can vary, with some still being unhealthy. Our study highlights potential concern regarding risk of hip fracture in women who have a vegetarian diet. He said, however, is not warning people to abandon vegetarian diets. As with any diet, it is important to understand personal circumstances, what nutrients are needed for a balanced, healthy lifestyle. Vegetarian diets can vary widely from person to person and can be healthy or unhealthy, just like diets that include animal products. However, it is concerning that vegetarian diets have lower intakes of nutrients that are linked to bone and muscle health. Again, I'm going to link to calcium. It's the easiest one. And iron. These types of nutrients generally are more abundant in meat and other animal products than in plants, such as protein, calcium, and other micronutrients. Low intakes of these nutrients can lead to low bone mineral density and muscle mass, which can make you more susceptible to hip fracture. And I believe that's it. So here's my opinion on it. If you know how to do a vegan diet, you're going to be pretty friggin' well off. If you're able to supplement with what is deficient in, and if you're able to supplement with protein, again, I have to point to mine, available at your local neighborhood Sprouts, Ambrosia, Planta. I'm by no means a vegan. I eat a lot of meat. So much that Bill Gates sent me hate mail. I eat a lot of fucking meat. I'm a pro bodybuilder. I eat probably 300 grams of protein a day with about 100 of that coming from protein supplements. I take MTS Whey 2 times a day, 2 scoops, that's 50 grams. And then I'll take Ambrosia 2 times a day. So, and then I'll have a couple outright bars. So about 100 grams of my protein intake is in supplemental form. I'll usually have 4 shakes around the day, and then I'll fill in the rest with meat. I eat bigger meals with meat involved. Can I help you? My daughter just got caught in the rain. She is so, come here. Come here, guys. Guys, wait, hold on. Stop there. I want you guys to know my daughter got accepted into one of the most prestigious business universities in the world. Come here, smart girl.
I thought it could be, no.
Oh, you're live.
No.
There's a lot of people watching
I
too.
beat the rain, and I ended up running half. It forced me to run, but.
Cammy, you look like a wet dog.
Dude, no, I feel like it was hailing. Oh my God.
Are you okay?
Well, yeah, other than that, yeah.
Okay. I love you. Do you want to join us or?
I think I'm gonna like.
I think you should brush your hair and maybe change into something a bit more dry. Jessica says, hi, Cammy. Hey, dude, you got to come back in. People want to talk to you. Cammy, dry off. And if I'm still on, we could talk about your thoughts on veganism. Yeah, lucky you don't smell like Lucky didn't take the dogs. I took the dogs earlier. Yeah. All right, Cammy, close the door. Oh, wow. It was Preston. Preston, come here. Say hi. He doesn't? Was it canceled? I don't know. It's indoors.
It's indoors? Still Eden.
Of course he is. This is Preston. He has to go to the gym. I can't take him. I have a 5:30 call. Guys, I'm kind of live. I'm doing a video.
I got a job.
Yeah, he does have a job. Thomas has his first job, guys. Congratulate him. Anyway. Welcome to my world, guys. Welcome to my world. What the hell was I talking about? So essentially, my opinion is that you can be a healthy vegan. It just takes a lot of work. However, if you're not doing veganism for altruistic purposes, like you want to save the world, you're anti-aggression, like my buddy Barbarian Hawk. That is not his real name, but if I say his real name, he gets mad. He says I'm the only one who's allowed to say it outside of like his mom. But nonetheless, like he's one of my boys, one of my friends. And, you know, he does it right, but it's part of his tribe. So unless it's part of like your religion, your tribe, or if you truly feel that meat is murder, then there's absolutely no reason to be vegan. There's no health benefit. I would actually argue, and Dr. Ovadia would argue, that if you're actually comparing apples to apples, and again, I'm not a doctor, consult with your doctor, guys. If you're comparing apples to apples, and I had to choose for heart health between a carnivore diet and a vegan diet, probably 2 years ago, I would have said vegan. But right now, as the data emerges, as I talk to expert like Dr. Ovadia, who is at iFixHearts, that IFIXHEARTS on Twitter, I would be a carnivore. However, I would do neither of those. I would do a balanced omnivorous diet. I would do something like exactly what I eat now. Like, for example, my breakfast this morning was a portion of sweet potato, and I had sweet potato. I've been on a sweet potato kick, which is super high in micronutrients. And then I got to do a day in the life eating vlog. I'll try and do that tomorrow. And then I had egg whites mixed with steak. So I had an egg white steak scramble, right? Because we had leftover steak. And when I have fattier meat like steak, I'll normally not eat whole eggs because, again, I'm about balancing macros, and that's what I do. And my diet is very stringent, and I stay on it, right? And then that was after boxing. Before boxing, I had an outright bar, which, again, has, you know, I didn't have this flavor, but, you know, you're looking at around 13 grams of fat. You're looking at around 15 grams of protein and around 27 grams of carbs. And speaking of which, guys, I have more to talk about. Let me talk more about my diet. But first, I want to give you a coupon code to use at tigerfitness.com now to buy any of your supplements. So I'm going to play this right now. The coupon is good until Friday night. So let's go. Guys, for supporting this channel. As you guys know, at tigerfitness.com, we are getting tremendous restocks of MTS Nutrition Machine Whey at tigerfitness.com. Ice cream sandwich, cookies and cream, chocolate and vanilla are in stock now. We also have Vasky, Drop Factor, all your favorite supplements coming in. For this video, I'm gonna give you a special coupon code to save 10% off site-wide, every single product, including MTS Nutrition Machine Whey, to your favorite energy drinks like Ghost. 10% off site-wide. Simply use coupon code OVERTRAINING. Coupon code OVERTRAINING will give you 10% off. Again, overtraining, 10% off, tigerfitness.com. Enjoy the rest of the video. So there we go. So after that, so I took my wife. My wife had a medical procedure today. She had an ablation. Just so you guys know what an ablation is, my wife has had for a whole life very heavy periods. We are done having children. All that's done. I already had a vasectomy. An ablation is basically where they burn your inside of, I think, your uterus. And so that basically will decrease the intensity of her periods. And her periods are so bad. Her menstrual cycle is so bad. She can't leave the house for 2 days. We have to plan our vacations around it. And being that in the first week of July, we will be going on vacation. I'm looking forward to not have to plan around her periods for that. So all you men who think you want periods, my wife would like a word. Okay, so before we went to the hospital or the doctors, whatever, I had Greek yogurt with a scoop of MTS whey. After that, for lunch, I had some chicken and sweet potato. And that was my last meal. And then my next meal will be Greek yogurt and whey. And then I'll probably have a snack before bed. So something like that. So I have a very omnivorous diet. In there, I'll throw in sweet potatoes. I'll throw in broccoli. I'll throw in veggies. In my Greek yogurt and whey, I'll throw a banana in there. So I'm big on variety of healthy foods. I'm big on being as healthy as possible, getting as many nutrients as possible. And what better way to do that than through meat and veggies? They all have, and fruits, they all have the unique properties, their unique nutrients, their unique everything. So that's my opinion. Anyway, guys, time to go to the chat. Let's see what y'all got here. William Schwant says hello. Rocky78 says thanks. Let's go to Jonah Jones. Mark, get me skinny and fit again. I'm fat. So there's a lot of resources. You go to tigerfitness.com, plenty of articles. Dropfactorbook.com. That's dropfactorbook.com is a free book that I wrote. Or if you want me to coach you personally, you go to marklowbliner.com. That's marklowbliner.com. And I can be your coach. From William Schwant, I understand why people worship cows occasionally. The whole thing is delicious. Very well played, William. Very well played. Jessica in the house already said what's up to you. From Bearded Voice, stop using other animals as an example. A kangaroo rat doesn't drink water. This doesn't mean you stop drinking water. Absolutely. He's referring to my gorilla reference. We are not fucking gorillas. We just not. Well, we're not, hopefully we're not fucking a gorilla, but we're not gorillas. Number one is humans on average have much larger penises than gorillas. Thank you for that. Nutrient deficit can also cause cognitive decline. Jessica, very true. And so if you're deficient in nutrients, if you're deficient in calories, those are things that just as some people pontificate or hypothesize that our brains were able to grow and create the humans we are today through the advent of eating meat, I can also argue that the opposite's true. If we stop doing that, then our brains will devolve or not operate efficiently. Gorillas having a small penis is a great reason why not wanting to be a gorilla. Absolutely. I swear my wife feeds me while I sleep. How come I'm heavier when I wake up compared to when I go to sleep? Jonah, you are a marvel of science. I've never heard that before. Are you sure you don't sleep eat? I'm serious. Like my mom, when she was at her lowest as far as addiction's concerned, she used to eat in her sleep. I became depressed and anxious on a vegan diet. I've heard that a lot. From Jonah, every time I eat pizza or hamburger, I'm bloated for 3 days, so I usually avoid them. But come on, every birthday party at kids' school events have no other foods. Jonah, I just don't eat them. Like I've literally been competing as I'm a dad. I don't miss anything. I'm at every event. But if I have a show coming up and I'm at a school party, I'm not eating. I'm not a cake kind of guy. Like I literally have MTS whey and it's ice cream sandwich flavor. I just don't crave cake. I just don't. I have outright bars. Like I'm good. But if you want to indulge once in a while, just factor it into your macros. There's an easy way to do that. Easy way. Anyway, guys, I think that does it for the chat. So there's my video for the day. Hopefully that helped you guys. I want to first of all, thank you guys again for being a part of my live, being a part of my life, being a part of this. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Like this video, please comment because my algorithm is totally effed. It's totally effed since 2020. So that would really help me. Any comment, any interaction, anything like that really helps. And anything we can do to to just do better for ourselves. Again, like the healthier we are, the better we are as people, the more productive we are as a society. And that's why we're here. And to support me, of course, go to tigerfitness.com. That's tigerfitness.com. Coupon code is overtraining. Get you 10% off the entire site through Friday. Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to send you off with that ad again for those who just signed on. I'm Mark Lobliner, and that's Thank you guys for supporting this channel. As you guys know, at tigerfitness.com, we are getting tremendous restocks of MTS Nutrition Machine Whey at tigerfitness.com. Ice cream sandwich, cookies and cream, chocolate and vanilla are in stock now. We also have Vasky, Drop Factor, all your favorite supplements coming in. For this video, I'm going to give you a special coupon code to save 10% off site-wide every single product, including MTS Nutrition Machine Whey, to your favorite energy drinks like Ghost. 10% off site-wide. Simply use coupon code OVERTRAINING. Coupon code OVERTRAINING will give you 10% off. Again, OVERTRAINING, 10% off, tigerfitness.com. Enjoy the rest of the video.